Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a profile on Orcust with the new Horus cards as well. Obviously there's some very clear synergies with the Horus cards and the Orcust cards. It's the exact same concept as what Tier are doing with the Horus cards, being able to kind of turbo into zombie vampire and go from there. But Orcust is just it's a personal favorite. Obviously it's a fan favorite archetype for a lot of people. So we're gonna show this off. I will start by saying that the ratios are not exactly perfect. I haven't done extensive testing on this. It's just kind of like a rough draft, just like an initial kind of build, but you'll be able to see kind of the general idea for what the deck is trying to accomplish, and you can certainly tweak with things as you go, and I'll explain some different things as we go as well. So 3 gear suit, this is going to be standard, as well as 3 Orcust Nightmare, going to be pretty standard as well. Symbol, you could opt to play 2. I've just gone for 1 of all of the kind of bad Orcust cards, being Symbol, Brass, and Wand. I think Brass is arguably not even required. You could make that the second symbol with little to no effort at all, but I kind of like it. It's not awful. And then we've got the Gizmek as well, with a Babble, a Return, a Foolish Burial, and a Crescendo. So that's the Orcust lineup. It is very straightforward. Trying to minimize on the bad ones while maximizing on the good ones. We're happy to max Nightmare here because we are playing the Horus cards, and so there's a lot of ways to discard. So opening Nightmare is just as good as opening Gear Suit at times as well. Obviously it's not, but with the discarding cards, we're happy to see Nightmare in our hand as well. For the Horus cards, we're trying to really just see Imseti or the King Sarcophagus. So we're playing the 3 Imseti. We're playing 1 of each of the other ones, and then we are on the 3 King Sarcophagus as well. Because again, seeing this with a handful of Orcust cards is fine. You just discard them all and go crazy. Then we've got 2 Vision and a Crimson. I'm not going to play the Horus cards at the Vision Resonator package as well. I just think the 2 go hand in hand. Certainly in a build like this, you could increase this. You could go 3 Vision, you could even go 2 Crimson if you really want to. Like I've said already, like we could cut the Brass Bombard for a space if you wanted to do that. You could even cut the King Sarcophagus down to 2 if you wanted another space as well. And then we are playing 15 non-engine cards, so you could easily cut that down to 12 and buff out some of the engine ratios. One thing I'm not playing at the moment is like Rota and Armageddon Knight and like Dark Grepher, and like those type of cards are pretty decent, so there's definitely a world where we would put them in here as well. But I've opted for more non-engine just because like this deck is inherently weaker than what the meta has, as far as obviously Orcust being an older deck. Yeah, so I've opted for more non-engine rather than, I guess, more consistency, but I mean, consistency is probably pretty important too. So yeah, a 3rd Vision Resonator, Rota, Armageddon Knight, Dark Grepher even, like they're cards that you could certainly find a home for in this deck, and they're just the different things that I'm kind of considering with this kind of rough build. And then, like I said, 15 non-engine, so I've gone for the hand traps this time round, so Droll, Ash, Veiler. I've gone double Talons and a Thrust just as a kind of another alternative, and then 3 Imperm for 15. Like these could be Nibiru's if you want to go really hard in on the hand traps, but yeah, obviously hand traps are going to be different from like meta to meta, but I've just gone for hand traps in this version. You could easily say cut 3 and play, Rota, Armageddon Knight, 3rd Vision Resonator, and then you could just cut the Brass Bombard if you want to, and then it's a clean 40 because this list is 41. But yeah, they're kind of like little tweaks that I was talking about at the start, where as far as like things that I'm not exactly sold on, but this is just like I said, a rough draft. I've just kind of thrown it together, and I'll do some test hands to kind of show what the deck is doing as well. Then for the extra deck, we have 2 Galatea, we have Appaloosa and Access Code Talker. It's obviously going to be how you kind of close out the games all of the time. We then have the beautiful Quarter Century Unicorn. Oh my goodness, it's so lovely. I'm not one for rarity, as you probably have gathered by looking at my collection through the videos, but this was one I just had to have. It's the only Quarter Century I picked up. It's like really the only card from Rarity Collection I've gone out of my way to buy, because I've already got them, so I don't really rarity upgrade things very often, if at all, but I just could not resist the Quarter Century Rare Unicorn. It is stunning, and the alt art is so good. SP and IP, these often form your end boards. You're always going to go for IP first, but if you've got extra material, SP underneath is always appreciated. Dark is just kind of generically good, I think. Link Karibo. Dark is arguably like a cuttable spot, but I don't know, it feels fine to keep in. Link Karibo. And then we do run a few XEs. So obviously we've got the double Dinkiasu, we have Zombie Vampire, and then we've got Harbinger. Again, I've just thrown Typhon because it's pretty decent, and Baron for the Vision Resonators. So some things like that you could obviously tweak, like something like Zeus is missing in this extra deck. Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord is missing. As I've stated in previous videos, it's not a card that I own anymore, so I have to make do, but that's as well why I play the Visions, because like you can just very easily get to Baron and not worried about Nibiru anyway. So yeah, you could take Dark and swap it for an extra rank 8 if you want an extra rank 8, but I just think the deck kind of links more, so that's why I've gone for Dark. But that is the extra deck. I'll do some test hands just to kind of show you what the deck is aiming to accomplish. I'll go from there. All right, so for our first test hand, we will draw a Symbol, a Nightmare, Gearsu, Happy, and Effect Veiler. So this hand is just going to play out the very basic Orcust combo with the Gearsu. We didn't obviously draw any access to the discard engine with the Horus monsters, so this is just going to be very standard, nothing too crazy. It's going to be normal Gearsu. Its effect is going to send the Nightmare to the graveyard. We can use the Gearsu's effect to give tokens, so one for us and one for our opponent, and then we can link our token into the Link Karibo. And then we can use the Nightmare, target whatever is fine, send the wand. And then we can use the wand in order to summon back the Nightmare, use it alongside the Link Karibo to summon the Galatea. We can use Galatea to put back the wand, to obviously get the, I like to prioritize the Babel. It just means that you can continue playing on your opponent's turn. One thing that's going to be a little problem is having the one Symbol skeleton in hand, so that is inconvenient for sure. We go up into Dingirsu here, and we send our opponent's token away, so they don't have that anymore. And then we can link into the IP, but yes, we obviously don't have the Symbol in the graveyard, which is a problem. So I'm actually thinking you probably don't go into the IP, and actually because we have Symbol, yeah, let's not do any of that. It's probably just going to be not Babel. We have to go Crescendo, because without a way to put Symbol in the graveyard, and again, this is where you would play, no, sorry, what am I? That's why we're playing the Brass Bombard. Never mind. We have Babel. It's fine. Because on our opponent's turn, we simply would, where we use our Nightmare effect to Foolish, we can send the Brass Bombard. Of course. There we go. The Brass would then allow us to summon out the Symbol from the hand. That's going to be, obviously, this is going to be a bit more scuffed than what it would be, but then we can kind of go IP into, obviously Unicorn or SP, depending, and then we do have Symbol to bring back the Dingirsu that way, so very scuffed. Probably just like I said, the second Symbol is probably the better way to go, but it is what it is. You can obviously just make that decision for yourself. The hand itself was already pretty annoying with just the one starter there and nothing else, but I digress. So let's do our second test hand. Okay, for our second one, we have Droll Unlock, we have Ash, we have Wand, we have Foolish, and we have Veiler. Again, opening these kind of one-off pieces is annoying for sure. With Foolish, the only real option, of course, is going to probably just be the Nightmare, but the problem we're going to run into is that, again, we have our one-off wand in the hand, which does not want to be there. So we would be Foolish Burialing, probably still Nightmare, but without being able to discard the wand, we're going to be in trouble. Because if we play this out, it's going to be, you know, Vela as like a normal summon. The Nightmare really can't send anything of consequence that's going to get us out of this situation. So that would be a bust of a hand. This deck does do this quite a lot. That's why maybe the Armageddon Knight and the Rhoda could be a good fit in as well, just for some added consistency. Because if you're not discarding, then you're having a bad time. The other thing to consider would be like Small World. If you tweaked kind of the non-engine, you could incorporate a kaiju or two in there. That would just allow you to kind of bridge. Surely you'd be able to bridge any monster into Imseti as well as the Girsu. So Imseti, Foolish, I mean, this is already Happy Days. We drew the Happy alongside that, Ash, and the Duamatef. So we've got all of the Horus names. We don't need to use King Sarcophagus at all, but we're going to go Imseti, pitch Duamatef, grab the King's Sarcophagus. Now, I don't hate saving the Imseti. I like saving that because it just gives us access to Baron if we get access to the Vision Resonator. There you go, that worked out perfectly. So, for example, here, we can activate the King's Sarcophagus. We can use it to pitch Happy and send the fourth name, the Kebesenuef, assuming that's how you say it. And then it does also leave us with one additional name, so that the ideal situation with the King Sarcophagus, if you have all four names, would be something like Imseti, make Baron. So you save the Imseti for Baron. Obviously, while we're comboing here, we're going to get the Crimson Gaia. Two of them can make Zombie Vampire, so you can bring back Happy and Kebesenuef to make Zombie Vampire. Obviously, if your opponent's playing something that Zombie Vampire is going to help, like Tier, anything like that, you might not go for this. You could go for your Photon Lord or your Hope Harbinger or something else. Instead, you just leave the Horus monsters on the field. Like Happy's a really good one to kind of just keep around. It's not terrible at all. But we're just gonna, obviously we're playing against ourselves here, so we can go Zombie Vampire very safely. We hit Girsu, we hit Nightmare, we hit the Gizmek, and we hit another Girsu. So we may as well just take a Girsu there. That's going to trigger the Girsu's effect. We already have a Nightmare, so we can throw the symbol down as well. We've also got Foolish in our hand. So if we didn't see the Vision Resonator engine at all, we still haven't normal summon, so we still have things we can do. Like we could certainly go Crimson Gaia for a Vision and then normal summon that and keep going. There's only really so far our deck can go with what our kind of extra deck allows as well. Like we're going to kind of have the full board here with what we have. But what we can simply do here, obviously we still have the Duamatef that can come back. We can leave this on the field for our opponent's turn if we want to before we Darklock ourselves. We obviously have to bring that back. But yeah, from here we can go Nightmare, target something is fine, and use it to put the wand into the graveyard. Again, if the Nightmare does get interrupted, we've also got Baron, we've got Foolish to kind of help get around that. We can wand back the Nightmare, and we can link off into our Galatea. It can put back the wand in order to get our Babel. We're always going to turn it into a Dingirsu. And then we just need kind of one more, okay, we can go one more body for IP. We can go a second body for IP and Little Knight. and keep the Duamatef on the field. So, and that's probably what we'll do. Let's keep the Duamatef there, because if our opponent interacts with our board, we get to draw a whole heap of cards. So that is fine. Let's go symbol. Sorry, hang on. Let's think about this then for a second. Before we do that with the symbol, before we do the Galatea into Dingirsu, let's backtrack it a little bit, because actually we want to kind of keep the symbol in the rotation. So we went wand for my Orcust skills are a little bit rusty. It's been a while. So we had Girsu and Nightmare, and we had Girsu and Nightmare. We had Banish the Wand to summon out Galatea. We went to Galatea that way. Then we can, what have I done? I put the graveyard into the deck. Whoops. Okay. Then we can symbol now and bring back just another name is fine, and then go into the Dingirsu here, reattach to the symbol. Obviously Galatea put back and get the Babel. We've made a mess of it, but that's okay. We got there in the end. We can link those now into IP, and from here we have Gizmek that can come back, but if we don't want to kind of banish all the resources, we can simply go Crimson, add a Vision, and normal summon it, and then we can turn Vision and Zombie into the SP Little Knight that way. That's just to keep Duamatef on the field. But obviously this Duamatef could have been any other Horus name. I mean, having it be Happy would be just as good. Obviously I think Happy is crazy. We've kept Ash, we've kept Foolish just in case, but yeah, I know it was a bit of a mess of a combo in the middle there, but we did get there. We did find the line, but yeah, like I said, it's been a while since I have really focused on playing Orcust cards. But we'll leave that there, just with the board there. I think that's good. Let me know what you think about the deck. I know I've seen people play it with like the Bestials additionally, which is cool. I mean, obviously it gives you more kind of engines to work with, but yeah, I personally, obviously the Horus cards are a standard, but the Vision Resonator stuff I think is quite good as well in here. But that's going to do it for this video, and I will catch you in the next one.